Hey everyone, it's time for more results. This is like the second round of major tournaments for the new set 5 meta, which is turning out to be getting more settled, a bit of some twists and turns as well. So let's just kind of get started. Lots of results this week, mainly just all from the new meta, but all around the Asia region. We have like Japan, but then we have like Korea, Southeast Asia. So it's just a bunch of them, right? So first off, let's start off with the Japan one. This was a Cheer Cup in Yamagata, and as we can see, like, Eledglema in the top 16 seems to have been making a lot of waves, especially since last time when, like, the first Tokyo tournament happened and everyone realized, wow, Eledglema is this really, really good deck. And by then, I feel like a lot of the format or the deck itself has been figured out. So going into this one, there's probably just a lot of more people, like, taking it, right? Next was a Raziel. Raziel just, again, very simple aggro deck that just does well. Fourth was, like, Love and Vaga. And then after that was like Night Rose, Shunui, something, see some of those like Stride X, and then just like a lot more. But this is, remember, in Japan they play with diversity cut in teams. So let's kind of take a look at how it actually broke down, because we do have more data regarding that. So this is from Drift Jara as well. That was from Fuzzy, by the way, if you don't know, you know, Fuzzy, VG Paradox, all that good stuff. But yeah, this is the other play chart that's kind of similar. But this one talks about all the decks that made it to X1. So remember, like, in diversity cut in Japan, if you have like matching decks that match with a lot of the decks that went undefeated, then you're automatically cut out. But there are a lot of X1s there, so this kind of looks at the bigger picture. As you can see, because of, you know, just looking at X1s, there are the same amount of Raziels when you compare it to Eledglema. So this and this, right? And then Vaga actually had more than Love. If you look at how many, what happened here was like Vaga, you know, actually the same as Love, but like before diversity cut, I mean, you know, just a few more Vagas. We'll go into the main table here. This is what we looked at last week. So if we look here, right, the Raziel, Eledglema, this side, this is what we're looking at. This is the X1 line. So these two are the same, Vagas and Love. There's one more Vaga, right? One more Vaga. That's a change, right? That's a change. This is Love. I think the biggest one is actually Eledglema. So this one is, there were 4 Eledglema on the X1 line, right? And when you look at how many of them made it into top cut, it drops off like way big, right? There's like only one that made it through. So Eledglema really got like messed up because of this diversity cut. And you know, it comes to show that this deck is still like relatively decent, I think. If we're looking at the X1 lines, which I think is a more accurate kind of look. Yeah, I think, you know, Eledglema is still there compared to here. Night Rose as well, showing just about the same amounts in as with Eledglema as well. So yeah, it's not as crazy as you think. Odium was only 3. Odium was only 3. I thought there'd be like way more players, but 2 of them made it through. But it's just like they just didn't have as many. All right, they just didn't have many. Moving on, let's just kind of take a look at what made it into the top cut. So let me cut off there. So what actually won was this Night Rose, Harry, and Shoujo Doji team, which is kind of interesting because when you think about it, this format is all about going first. But if you go second, if you play a deck that wants to go second, then Stride decks are pretty much it, right? So I think people still rate Night Rose pretty well, and that is a deck that can generate a decent amount of advantage and survive. I'm not sure about Harry, so we're going to look at that later. And then in the second place team, we have that Eledglema team, and then they had 2 Blats. So this is like Eledglema, all right? But obviously one of them will be playing like a diversity cut kind of thing. And then third place was Eledglema, Shunui, Drejeweled, right? Drejeweled is actually pretty crazy, right? We haven't really seen, you know, kind of unexpected. Definitely a deck that really wants to go first as well. And then in fourth place, we have that Eledglema, Raziel, and a Love deck. So we can also take a look at the rest of the format, well, the rest of top 16, just in visual form, because you would have seen it before, but yeah, this is the visual form. As you can see, what made it through in the undefeated section was the Eledglema. So this basically just made life harder for every single other Eledglema like team out there. And their main, even though they ran 2 bats there, one of them ran Ava. So we're going to take a look at that later. This is a different fight team. You see Chris, congrats, yeah. He went undefeated in Swiss, but unfortunately he got the Swiss code. It was like, if you look at the team lineup, right, you know, lots of love. All right, lots of love in this lineup, you know. And then after that, we have, so the eventual winners of this tournament, I think, made it through due to diversity cut. Because if you just look at how many players are playing Shoujo Doji, Harry, and Night Rose here, basically none, right? Basically none. So that's this is where diversity cut started, right, from 6th place onwards. And there was also like another, you know, Varga here as well. But yeah, now you're seeing the Stride decks. Leisha fail. This one's clearly a love deck. It's just a guy playing a weird Keta to kind of like, you know, play diversity card. Seraph, okay, and Leonorn. So I feel like Leonorn is fine, even though we see way less of it. That's just because there's a lot of other decks that you can play right now that is relatively good. I feel like when Set 5 came out, at least 4 playable decks / 5 playable decks just like came out at the same time. And then upgrade a bunch of other decks too, like the Equilibria that we saw before. So I feel like, yeah, of course the Leonorn will kind of like teeter out a bit. And then the last ones were, yeah, just Alden, you know, nice. It's going to be, oh, is there another Dredgewald? So those are at least 2 Dredgewards. Shamu and Poldio, yeah, okay, so basically a large variety of decks. So let's take a look at the first place team deck, right? Like I said, Night Rose going second in a meta where you want to go first is pretty good. They brought the double Stride decks. And this Night Rose is overall just very, I guess, very samey to what you'd expect from a Night Rose deck. There's not that many changes. Hostage build, you just farm hand on your first couple of strides, try and live, and then you'll scale up and win. And yeah, nothing really too new there. And then here we have the Shoujo Doji. So this one is, this deck did get that limit, and a lot of people are running cards that would get rid of their opponent's bind zone, just because, you know, when you bind their cards, it goes to the bind zone first, but they get to put it back in their hand at the end of the turn. So getting rid of those bind zone cards is the only way to kind of generate like more advantage. But this player is not playing it. They're just playing Forward Revolters, only 2 of them as well, and also some Forktails. So we have some like early game push available. You can combo this with Shenri. Technically Forward Pluses as well, if you call something out for a CB, which is similar to what Izzasal does. So those are just kind of the replacement cards. And yeah, the flex slots as well is just filled with these specific cards, right? And then lastly, we have the Harry deck. So this Harry deck is pretty crazy, I have to say. Like, I think after the first week of Tokyo, everyone's kind of discounted this deck because Harry's like play rate just gets lower and lower. There is something really interesting about this deck because, relatively speaking, the whole of this deck is pretty standard Harry. Nothing like really like pops out, right? Just as Harry things. But there is this new PR that is quite interesting, and the main thing that you're getting from this is the second effect is that when this card is in the soul and your grade 3 or higher Vanguard attacks, if you haven't like ridden this turn, you can put this card into the bind zone, and then your front row units all get plus 5k. So that's actually pretty cool because it capitalizes on how Harry can multi-attack in your early, like, first grade 4 turn or grade 3 turn, but it's a stride on your first stride, right? But your power lines aren't really that good. But if you have this, if you're able to pop off with this, then at least the numbers are hitting slightly harder and more annoying to guard. And then later on, of course, you know, if you pop this, then it just generally gets hard to guard. That's just how it is, right? That's just how it is. So I think it's a pretty cool extra inclusion, and might become a staple card for Harry in the future. But that's really all it is. That's really all there is. Second place team brought the double bats, and the first player did just play a straight up Ava Ride line and then just run the bats in the normal deck. So you just have to manually ride it and hard mulligan for it. It's not the end of the world if you miss as well, though, because if you play Ava, if you just ride to an Ava, you can just top X search for your missing card, and the next turn you can ride the Eledglema. But otherwise, the rest of it is just pretty standard. You have the new supports, so this is the new set 5 support that just can put a bunch of orders, right? It's the order zone. This is the one that gets a bunch of crit and power when it attacks, and not limited to once per turn. And then we have the old, just a monster card that can help you get, like, Persona Ride every single turn, right? So all those are there, and then the collection of set orders that you want to run. But again, right, if you miss, you have the Ava top X search. If you hit, you just straight up ride into an Eledglema and call it a day. So, pretty nice. The second one is just the normal Eledglema. You just run Archites. You just run the normal Archite line. So I think it's a pretty fun diversity tech overall, and just the rest of the deck is just the same. You have like one less slot in your deck because of the swap up you have to use, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Um, diversity can't be like that, you know. And then the Eledglema, so this is the guy that basically cucked out every single other Eledglema, or made their lives harder. Eledglema running the new Frisia as well. Is it sorry, Furia? Just 4x copies of it. It's a great early game card. It lets you, you throw it down. You're always using, you automatically run orders, right? You have like you still run only two of them, because I guess you focus more on, I don't know, is this really called the hostage order? It's just like the boost order. And that one kind of works well with just Furia, right? Because you just play it. You play an order. It's not limited to normal orders, unlike the Tearfelt clones and Orleans and all that. So you have you already have orders that you play, that you'll play naturally, and then yeah, so you can just put this early, kind of push, and then pop off, right? Cash it in later. Sometimes your opponent won't even have that many cards on the board, just because they don't want to lose cards to your Eledglema like first skill. So your Furia would just kind of go off naturally by itself. And again, it hits numbers, does everything you want early, and it still has that very punishing late game turn with the boost and the Vadrot Dragon just going boom boom, big power, you can't guard, you're dead, right? So pretty cool. After that, we have the Levidras. So kind of interesting that Levidras didn't show up, alright? It's like in Tokyo, I think this was the deck, and I think a lot of people respected Levidras as this is the deck to beat. But we don't really see it in the top, well, we see it all in the top card in the X1 lines, but in terms of how it ended up, I guess it's teams, right? Teams happen, but none of the top 2 slots. Overall, though, the Levidras deck is relatively nearly like 95% solved, I think, right? There's not much ways to build it. You need the new Musketeer. You need X copies of the Levidrasses. You want the re-standard grade 2. Hoolies is just an amazing card that can, call cards for a CB. And then you have your Foxil that just creates more multi-attack. So basically, a lot of this deck is pretty much solved. You want Clarence for like a counterblast, it's there, and then yeah, like it's all there, right? It's all there. The only real choices you have is, do you want to run the Dual Nation, which I think a lot of people do. I think it's accepted that the Dual Nation is the best, right? Is the best, and then you have this. What was this? This one like Squirrel, right? This one just kind of moves around. The move around boost. So only one copy of that, but yeah, most of this deck is already sold. But I think people will figure out how to beat this deck more and how to play around its damage to 9 shenanigans. That we might see like kind of come back to a more balanced one. And I think we're slowly getting there. There's still Nagoya, I think, next week, so that should be pretty interesting. And then the other one is the Shiranui, so another Stride deck. Go second. This one's running 3 defensing roars though, which is, I mean, you pair it with basically any like Foul Hides. You got the front trigger OT. It's just an amazing. I think this is supremely underrated. It's just such a good card. And we're seeing this like, Brandgate with the Blitz Order. Yeah? This one, and same thing here. Play normal PGs and then play some Blitz Orders that are marginally better than others. I mean, imagine this on Eledglema. This Eledglema turn, shut down, right? Totally shut down. And then the Drajuled as well. So this Drajuled is surprising because Drajuled did get like new cards, and I think they're just running 2 of it. Another deck, I think last week we were running 4. Extra shield. Yeah, extra shield, and if you have a Drajuled grade 3 or higher, you can bind this while this is in the drop. And then you pick a grade 3 and put into your soul. You put your Drajuleds back to kind of get any grade kind of thing. But yeah, only 2 copies this time. They're running 2 Bifronts to kind of go through the deck. And, Forbidol, because this is a grade 4 deck. But the rest of the deck is actually like not really changed compared to before, right? This is just... this is a Drajuled deck that you'd probably have seen for... I want to say centuries, but for a very, very long time. So its showing results is at least pretty good, right? And then in 4th place, we have this team, the Raz. We finally see, is this the first Razile, right? Top 4 Razile. Totally moved away from the TF builds, the Catapiles, because just, I'm guessing the Catawallas is just insane, right? Less Catapile means more space for other cards. You see 4x Catawalla, 4x Nibiris, and then we have 4x Valtrosa as well. So all these power cards And I mean, these cards also just can come in early game as well. Like Valshore, throw it down, right? You can convert a CB, build a board, or just get important orders. I don't think you have that many orders, right? But yeah, just build a board, and just push. Just push. We're talking about how this is an aggressive meta. These all can be committed early and then just throw down. I mean, the Caterpillar engine can as well, but you really only build that board when you have the double combo of like Teeth Felt and the Wisdom. But these ones are like solo combos. They just work by themselves, which is a great plus. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty good. And I'll be interested to see how, again, these Razal decks evolve, because I think this is largely, out of all the decks, right? I mean, people say Levy Dress is good, but Razal, literally everyone says, this is the deck for me. And it is also, like, unlike Levy Dress, is not slow, so people can definitely jump into. It's like an aggressive deck, so you can jump into it very, very easily. So I feel like this literally just could be the main deck to be. We have the fancy stuff like Emporio, but this is just like a Stone Hammer that works, right? Next we have is the Levy Dress. Again, yeah, not saying Levy Dress is bad. It's still a very, very good deck, of course. Actually, no, it's an amazing deck. What am I saying? But you can see the construction of this deck is pretty much confirmed. Like, it's pretty much similar to the one we just saw before. I think the only change is, like, they're running Twin Cast instead. Alright, but we've got the Dual Nation, Huli, boom, ulti, bam, 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 bam. Everything is there. Literally everything is there. I think it's just missing one Clarence, right? One Clarence for the counter charger. And not everyone runs a counter charger, which is crazy. And then the last slot we have is Love. So, this is just running this is Dragon, right? It's just like Auto Searcher Love with some extra orders, and that's kind of it. Not running only one set of the grade 2. And I think that's pretty much the build. Run one set of the grade 2, have extra slots open for other stuff that you can do, and then just run extra stuff that you need. Yep. And then some of the cooler decks from Yamagata. So this one was like a top cut Rasetsu, right? And they have one of everything. One of everything. Now, this deck is actually like relatively interesting in my opinion. They're running a lot of 10k shields, so this one serves as like 13k booster, right? When you have like your opponent has like 5 or more cards in the drop zone, which is relatively easy, right? You're retiring a board. You're a tie deck. Your opponent's gonna guard. They're likely gonna have 5 or more cards in the drop zone, and so it's playing like 13k beat, also like 10k shield. I think the 10k shield is the main thing we have to look at, because they're running like a bunch of other cards too. So they're even running the good old Buttercup, all right, 10k booster, but it's a 10k to 15k shield, and they're running 4x of it. So that's pretty crazy, right? That's pretty crazy. 2 of the 10k shields, 13k attacker, 13k power, and then we have like the 10k, 15k. Then 4 foul hides, even run the Carbuncle as well. This is extra shield, still extra shield. But also have like the aggressive, like the T-Rex. It gets a bunch of 5Ks, so pretty cool. And then yeah, Defensing Roar, Restand. So this is like, I'd say this is a Vaga deck, right? That we maybe, I mean, the core is still there. The core is still there. You have the Ashura, but you don't have any of the new grade 1s. You don't have like the old Impale Horn Dragon as well. It's just defensive cards, which is pretty crazy, pretty insane. So, yeah, I think this is cool, right? This is cool, very, very cool to see, and see how, you know, the Vaga decks evolved. People have been expecting more from this deck, but so far it is showing results. But that could be more because of the amount of people playing it, right? Next is the Odium. So this is Chris's deck. You see, called the Girlfriend Gaming. So Chris's deck, he did very well, right? He did very well. He's got his report on his Twitter, right? But I'm pretty sure he's gonna make a video on this too, right? That guy loves videos, right? If you didn't know, if you didn't know, you should also subscribe to him. He recently hit 60k. It's amazing. But yeah, some of the changes here, I mean, these cards you don't change at all. Like Odium, the Colossus, right? Well, this is not a Colossus. It's a Colossus looking dragon. Lost Break. It's like Lost Break Drama. Hey, but yeah, no, the Colossus is this guy. So this guy is. You don't run any of these Gear Chronicle looking guys. Okay, these guys are just amazing cards. Some of the differences are, well, you have the Furrier, right? But he's running the Cycler now, right? Cycler, so Soul Blast, old Cycler, Soul Blast 1. I guess it like kind of builds like extra cards at the bottom deck, so you're not deck up, but then you don't really soul blast through the deck that much. But you do triple drive, right? You do triple drive a lot. Your opponent gets an OT, so it might delay a turn. So I'm guessing like the extra cards might be relevant. And then the second one is just a similar, you know, CB1 call something out. So just build a board and go for a good life. You run 4x of the Avarice because this guy just searches your key orders. But I think the interesting card they're running now is Visago, and I've seen this in some of the other builds too. This is just your anti-G zone card. It's like you can search for other grade 3s. So when if it's in your hand, if you're on a grade 3 or higher Vanguard, you just discard it, and then from your solo drop, you put 2 cards from your ride deck back into your ride deck, and then you look at top 7, and then grab a Vanguard with a different name, grade 3 or higher, and then add it to your hand. And if you added one, you discard a card from your hand. So you basically can't search for Persona. This card's really good for those new grade 3s that have other forms, like Rasetsu, well, not really for Imperial because you're always writing that, but Raziel, right? Those are good kind of targets. Leonorn, yeah, Leonorn. But for this one, if you're playing Odium, you can't really search for Odium, but you're searching for other key grade 3s as well. You're searching for, yeah, Anachronos Dragon, right? You're searching for this, which is really, really important. And you're also searching for your Distorted Bane. This is a grade 3 as well. But some of them do go out of your deck pretty early, so your targets aren't there. But the good thing is about this card is that if you don't hit, you just add this card back to your hand. So it's not like you lose. It's not like you lose anything. And then they can search as a shield for later on. So I think this is pretty cool. This is a nice flex slot you can run in, put in, and then, yeah. The rest you can just literally just throw down cards and just bash, right? Just beat people up. So that's good. That's good. They also brought Love, right? So Love, I think it's just a similar build as always, right? You run the good grade 1, 2, and 3, and then you have a lot of slots to run other stuff. Easy deck. And then lastly with the Eledglema. So this is actually pretty interesting. So Eledglema did get some support as well. I've mentioned it before, but let's kind of go through it a bit more. It's a very aggressive deck in a very aggressive format. You have your new grade 2. This one can top 7 search for an overcharged card or a order. So the 3 of that order. And then if you revealed, you know, pick a card from your hand and you would put it to soul or discard it. So it's not really a plus, but it searches for important cards that you need, and also gets a bunch of power as well. So that's pretty cool. Otherwise, the rest of the deck is pretty much what you'd expect. So the grade 1s are still there. Running 7 cyclers though, so going to go through that deck pretty quickly. And then just 4 of the restanders. And then also the order searcher. So I do like this card in this deck. It's just another card that searches an order. It's just basically another copy of this on demand, you know, revive. But you can just play this early as well, and or it stays on the board and you can use it to just bash people with. So I like that. I like that. And just one of the carbuncles as well. So just play this very aggressively. It has more sustain, I guess, now, or just more consistency. So you can kind of go off a bit more. So pretty good. I think a lot of people are underrating this deck, but one of its greatest opponents, which was Shoujo Doji, is gone. And other decks that just kind of annoy you by permanently getting rid of your multi-attacker is gone. So it might show more power soon. So we have an Almagesta that made it through as well. They got a new grade 2 that kind of helped. They're only on 2. I think the main thing they got is Freya, right? But even so, they're only on 2. So I guess, you know, pretty quick format. If it's a fast format, then I feel like a lot of decks can perform as long as they can play pretty quickly too. So Almagesta technically can. They can play very aggressively, and just Ford Revolta as well. Yeah, just put in those early game generics and just kind of pop off, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty nice. Next is the Messiah. We have one Messiah. What is the Messiah's doing? Nothing really changed from the previous Messiahs. Just one alter ego. You got the grade 1. This one, the Energy Blast 3, right? Just to put back a card. Yeah, so nothing really changed with the Messiahs, but we definitely saw lower play. But this is, I guess, again, it's the theory of going second. I like going, everyone wants to go first, but I like going second. So perfect time for strides, yeah. And then we have Alicia Fail. So Alicia Fail, did it get, I think it got like a couple of new cards. So this new card from DBC05. But otherwise, we're also in the format right now where we get Alicia Fail. Most of this deck is just 100% playable already. I feel like this might be a bit slept on in English. I do think this is pretty decent. Just kind of change these two. But there's a lot of other Alicia Fail constructions that you can see if you want to play this in English. You can just put these two in right here, right? But yeah, Alicia Fail, 18k base, pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. I think a lot of these decks as well, if it's a very aggressive meta, when you play aggressively, your hand size becomes naturally just lower. So if you have decks which can play aggressively and also have an extremely like explosive grade 3 turn, then other decks just might straight up die, right? This might just straight up die. So I feel like this deck naturally just gets like 4 attacks, but then you can get an extra restander where your opponent is like weak, right? When your opponent is weak, if you go first, and then your opponent like rides up, does their grade 3 turn, but you've been bashing them, then you just do a big explosive turn there with like 5 attacks. They might just straight up fall apart and die. So yeah, I feel like it opens up to a lot of these kind of decks, and this might be what you see with all the 3rd slots. And then next is the Empoleon. So Empoleon is kind of, I guess, kind of different, like totally different in that it just stays around and be very stally and annoying. This one is not running any of the blitz orders that we naturally see, right? So normally we see a lot of blitz orders to kind of abuse the fact that some of these cards have amazing shield, right? Amazing shield, but they're actually running 4x of this new card, this new dragon that lets you use energy, right? So this is like when this card is placed on the Regard circle, Energy Blast 3, look at top 5 cards, and then grab a card that is of different name from this card, and then lower than your Vanguard's grade, and then just call it to the Regard circle. So it builds a board. This technically lets you be aggressive, right? Because it can build a board, and then you can bash with it. And then when this unit boosts, if you have 5 Automod gauges, Soul Blast 1, it gets 5k. So Soul Blast, the key thing is a Soul Blast 1. So it lets you build cards in your drop zone, so you can. But I guess you need 5 Automod gauges, right? So it's not an early game card. That's not that good then. But yeah, let you build a board early means you can be aggressive, and then just pop off. So all right, that's nice. It's nice. And then lastly, we have another Odium deck. So this one's different to how Different Fight built it. This one is running no Furias, right? But running Gungaram. So again, right, the Gungaram, I guess it's a nice replacement for us if we don't get it in English. Get Furias in English. So Gungarams, you have the Avarice, 3 Visagos. They're running one copy of this Ditana, alright, the Steam Maiden. This one just gives power, but I do think the Colossus is just better, right? I do like this Colossus a lot more. You can always, you just have the potential to always draw 1 and Soul Charge 1, and then yeah, it gets boost. So, I don't know. I feel like I like this one better, but one copy of that just feels like it's I forgot my card. You know, I forgot to bring an extra card. It's got that vibe to it. But yeah, no, I do like the Gungaram. Gungaram, I feel like, is just a very nice replacement for not having Furias. And I think people run Orleans as well, but I do like how Gungaram is grade 1, so you can just kind of go earlier. You have great grade 2s already in this deck, or at least decent grade 2s. Yep. Moving on, we did have another. We have a lot of WGP. We have one in Hong Kong as well. So they're in the base. These are all JP formats, okay? This one had 2 Vargas in top 8, then Black, Prison Love, Odium, and Night Rose. And what came out first was actually the Raziel, right? Raziel. Did I just say Raziel? Raziel came first, and then Love, all right? Then Rasetsu, and then Raziel again. So all the Raziels. Wait, what? Yeah. So hang on. I'm guessing. Wait. Yeah. So. There should be 2 Raziels, and they're just missing the vibe. Yeah, both Raziels made it to the top 4, so that's pretty cool. But unfortunately, we don't have any deck logs, so unlucky. Right, unlucky. And then next we have is Thailand as well. So Thailand having their WGP, 5 Vargas making it through the top 16. There's no diversity cut in this one as well, guys. Like in all of the non-JP ones, there is no diversity cut. 3 Levidras and 2 Odium. And then, where did all the Raziels go? No Raziels? There's like 1 Love, Shotodoji, Tisha, Nairo's. Yeah, one. Wow, it's crazy. This is Varga City, man. Varga City. And then, let's look at the top 4. So, Rudu came first with the Emporio. Alright, that's good. Heart came first with Love. And then we got Fresh Rex with the Shotodoji. And then, 4th was Tazy. Tazy with the Varga. So, we can kind of take a look at these decks. So first we got the Emporio. This one, I guess, is relatively similar to what the other ones you've seen. Nothing too crazy. This one running 1 Mythiarch Habitat. So this is, because some of these decks cut them out. I remember some decks last week ran 1 or a couple more. But yeah, they've been kind of cutting out just for normal cards, right? Second place was the Love deck. So this one is running more of the grade 2s. So only 2 copies though. 2 copies of the 2, but still able to fit in 3 of the grade 1s. That means, I guess, like, you just have to run 1x of every single dress or clothing piece, which I think a lot of people are just running 2x of some of them. But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. This grade 2 is, like, okay. right? It's okay. Come into play, counterblast 1, top 3, grab a card, call a card to the rear guard circle, and then put the rest at the bottom. That's pretty much it. And then you get 5k, and then you can retire a card. So that's kind of just what you're missing out on. But it doesn't mean you have to run like more clothes to match hers, because she has different requirements. And then we have the Shoujo Doji. So this one also is running the 2 forward and 2 forktail combo. Again, I think that's pretty cool. More early game power, and this is pretty much what the Japanese player ran as well. So I feel like this could be just the direction that Shoujo Doji is moving towards post ban list. And then we have the Rasetsu. So what is this Rasetsu running? It is running 2 glaives and then one of the grade 3. But then running a bunch of one-offs. So let's talk about this one. This one is an Energy Blast 4. When it attacks a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's realize and bind it. So I guess this is really good. This is like nice tech against like Night Rose decks. They have something on the board that's good. Get rid of it. You have opponents playing hostage. Get rid of it. Get rid of key pieces from your opponents. So I think it's pretty nice. Just 1 copy of this tech. It's literally tech.deck. You know, one of the one of this is it Summit Flare Dragon? Just the antigen top 7 check. Right, only one of the new dragon, right? This one, the one that just gets retired and you can like call it everywhere. And then only one of the Impale one as well. It's crazy. Only one of everything. It's like they can't make up their minds. Oh, but they're running, okay, so 2 of the Order Searcher, but then 2 of the Restand Power Order. So that's actually not bad. You're going all in on just the Restand, and then, you know, everything else can worry about it. Only like, oh, they got 4 shooters. 1 counter charger as well. Like, yeah, again, like so many one-offs. Like, they're running every single heal as well. It's like they just want to make the deck log long. It's like 1 of every kind of heal. Normal heal. You got the Restand and crit heals. The anti-stride heal. And then I guess, like, you're running 1 defensing order, so you just kind of pick your favorite one to bounce back to hand. That's crazy. And then we have the Busan. So this is Korea. Lots of Raziel in Korea. And lots of Odium. And then got the Love, Levy Dress, and Night Rose after that. And I think these are the top 4 decks. Do we have the top 4 breakdown? So yeah, double Odium came first and second, and then Love and Raziel. And then we have the top 4 decks. They just have pictures. So this is the first place deck. First place Odium. This one is not running Avarice, which is crazy. I actually think there's like no good reason not to run it, right? I feel like it's not like you're gonna have a bad you won't be able to hit Divine skill turn, but I just feel the Distorted Bane is like the key points to making your power lines like bigger. But I'm guessing like if you just run more early game cards, you can just throw them out early and then just tri-lane ASAP and just like bash and try and do as much damage. And then who cares about power, right? Who cares about that? Second play Odium list was much more normal. We have like 4 Avarice there. You're running a Carbuncle, Furias, and then yeah, pretty standard list. Only 2 Orleans, but also only 2 Cyclers, right? 2 Cyclers. And third place, I think this is the wrong list, but we have a 4th place. This is the Raziel, so we're just running Ketapal, right? Wisdom, TF, and then yeah, Selgeon, so Ketapal. The third place is here. This is just the love list, and I think it's just running the normal, just one normal line of love with just a couple of extra, dogs, and then some. What was that one? I can't really see that come. Yeah, it's just the pretty normal love list, I think. So that's pretty much all the lists, right? All the lists from Japan and Southeast Asia today. I think it's pretty interesting how the meta is evolving. I think Raziel is just rising up because it's just like a simple aggro strong deck. Emporio showing that last week has really influenced the meta, and I think this week or I think it's this week we have a big Nagoya one. That one is a big one. It's on the Chiho Cup, so we're gonna see a lot of teams there. I think it's one of the last ones of the entire season as well. So that should be crazy, right? Everyone's going to be bringing out the big guns. Let me know what you guys all think of the new format, right? Set 5 is still in its infancy, and we're going to definitely see a lot of differences in our format as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.